Hey everybody, I'm JimClassic and you are watching Geekin It. And for today's video, I would like to talk about Vector Prime's upgrade accessories, the DNA Design DK61 Prime Vector Upgrade Kit. Now, this is a third-party upgrade kit to upgrade my Legacy United Vector Prime because, well, I'm not going to do a review of Vector Prime, because we've seen reviews of Vector Prime, and I would say a lot of people, including myself, consider him a disappointment. I mean, yeah, he kind of looks like Vector Prime in certain areas, but he's also wearing Jhiaxus's pants. And for crying out loud, Hasbro, you couldn't have bothered to remove the wing clips from the legs. Like, this is for Jhiaxus. Vector Prime does not need this, and yet you couldn't even be bothered to remove them. Lazy work on Hasbro's part. And just, my overall feel of Vector Prime is he's just a letdown. He wasn't what I was hoping he would be, and the wings are, the wings are too small. Well, the legs are a bit loose. I don't necessarily know if that's I guess that's also Jhiaxus's fault as well. But he just wasn't what I was hoping he would be. At the time of this recording, it is still up for speculation what Age of the Primes Vector Prime is going to be. Is it going to be a repackaged version of this or a new mold altogether? At this point of the recording, we do not know. But that's why DNA Design did this upgrade kit. Now, I've had this on pre-order for Big Bad Toy Store for a very long time. And finally arrived. And, we're gonna open this set up, take a look at all the pieces, and just see how they look on the prime of time. All right, so just talking about the box real quick. There's not much to see. You see like this white grid background, and you see this kind of a ring holding all of the parts together, like as a shield or coat of arms. You see DNA Designs there in the top, DK61 Prime Vector Upgrade Kits. Since they can't say Vector Prime, I guess they can get away with Prime Vector. Sure. Nothing here on the side. It's a very thin box, as you can tell. On the back, it just basically shows all of the goodies that are inside that hopefully will make Vector Prime, a Legacy Vector Prime, a better toy. Anyway, that's it. There's not much else to say. Legal stuff on the bottom, I guess. Same thing on the top, DK61 Prime Vector Upgrade. But yeah, that's enough. Let's just open this thing up and just see what these pieces are all about. Well, now that we have the box open, we can see all the accessories right here, which will hopefully improve Vector Prime. We got the solar panel wings, like bigger ones. We have like the gauntlets. We have bigger shoulder panels, stuff that go on the feet. Looks like we got 2 swords. Some people got 3 swords. Not really sure what kind of black magic that was, but I got 2 swords. And got some, looks like we got some sword clips, at least one. I see 2. I see a little tiny thing right there. I don't know what that is yet. But hopefully these instructions will explain to me what needs to be done. So, let's just cut to the chase. The next cut you see will be Vector Prime all decked out in his new armor. Once all of the pieces are attached to Vector Prime, I gotta say there is an improvement to the toy. But with a few buts. Before we get to that, let's start with the pros, and then I'll move on to my criticisms. The color matching with the off-white plastic appears to be pretty spot on. The paint application, such as the gold paint trim, is cleanly applied and also matches the figure, the actual figure itself. The shoulder pads are appropriately oversized, as I would expect from any proper Vector Prime. The boots do give Vector some additional height, and the solar panel capes are also appropriately oversized, are painted nicely, and look just fantastic. The larger panels actually help the illusion that Vector Prime has a flowing cape, and if you do it right, it works quite well. Unfortunately, however, I'm going to have to bring up those solar panels again in the cons section too. The shin guards hold in place, but too much handling causes them to dislodge. I think this would have been better had they been connected to the unused hinges left over from the Jhiaxus mold, but I don't really know. Like I said, they clip in, but then they just fall right out if you just use them too much. The DNA kit came with 2 swords. Now, Vector Prime usually only uses 1. Here's the original right here, or at least the legacy version right here, which, I mean, as swords go, this isn't too bad. These are clearly more impressive, but we got that smoky blue plastic here, which is kind of reminiscent to the original Vector Prime, and you have this nicely painted one with the gunmetal blade, the burgundy hilt, and the gold trim. I actually think I like this one a little bit better, but these are very nicely sculpted swords. And I guess you could have him just dual wielding if you really wanted to, or maybe this is his regular fighting sword when he's dueling, and then he charges it up to this one when he's getting super powered or he's traveling through time or something, or, you know, whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter, but there's some versatility here. You got some options here, which is a very nice touch. Comparing the original Vector Prime to the Legacy version wearing the upgrade, you can see the improvements, and it does look good. I still think the original has a stronger presence, especially considering the size of the figure, even though it does lack modern articulation. So all of the same pieces can be used on Vector Prime's Starship mode, with some parts forming required. I'm not going to take points off of the parts forming, but that's mainly because I've got bigger complaints to go beyond that. Though I believe the upgrade kit looks good for the robot mode, the vehicle mode suffers by everything getting in the way and just cluttering up the vehicle mode. When it comes to the vehicle mode, less is more. You have those oversized wing panels now, but you have the short nose cone, and the ship just gets lost within those solar panels. A lot of the pieces that are clipped on are clearly just clipped on, and one of the shoulder panels actually kind of snapped on me when I was applying the 5mm peg into the bottom of the thruster area. I seem to have put it back into place. I think I just kind of loosened the glue that holds the 2 pieces together, but it still snapped rather effortlessly, so that was kind of a concern. These struts, which are supposed to tab in right there, do not tab in very well. They will for a second, and then a little bit of jostling around, it comes loose again. And you know, it's like if this tab was just moved over a millimeter, just like a little bit, a millimeter to the front, it probably wouldn't even be an issue. But I'm stretching it out, and it just eventually pops out. Like this one popped out too just now, and that's kind of annoying. Also, another thing which you can kind of do, which, you know, just didn't occur to me before, is the side leg panel here is on a hinge. I just folded the hinge down and then pegged the strut where it's supposed to for the regular, you know, default mode, and that seems to hold a lot better. Like, yeah, okay, you see the feet kind of flopping around a little bit down there, but I don't know, it kind of does give that illusion, like with the feet guns down there, similar to the vehicle mode, how it's underneath the hull section. So, you know, doing it that way kind of works. Like, that's not part of the instructions. I just double checked, and like I said, it's a bit floppy, but I don't know. I think I like that configuration a little bit better than having this piece up like so, like it was, and then kind of forcing it down onto that peg there, which just it just is very frustrating, and it just keeps popping up the entire time. And so yeah, I just wanted to point that out real quick. I just kind of was fiddling around with it, and you know, the light bulb kind of went over my head, and I'm like, oh wait, I can fold it down, and I think it works a little bit better. You even have the clips for weapon storage, which you can just put right there and through the shoulder pads, but this just makes a cluttered design even more cluttered. And yeah, it just doesn't really work too well. I mean, it's floppy around, you know, it falls right out. That's not, I mean, I get it, weapon storage is a thing, but this was not the best. The wing panels have this smoky clear blue plastic, and so, you know, clear plastic always has an opportunity for breakage, but The burgundy paint trim is very clean and very nice, and the solar panel does have a hinge right here, and you can close it to become a half wing, and you can reopen it. But here's the issue with reopening it. You have to be very careful because it gets stuck at this point right here, and then you hear that click. I'm not sure where it's getting stuck, somewhere here in this hinge, but obviously clear plastic, that loud clicking sound. You hear that? This is this potential breakage issue for the future right here. As far as the vehicle modes are compared with each other, well, I mean, once again, I gotta side with the original version of Vector Prime because I think visually the legacy version with the upgraded pieces is just a little too cluttered, as I mentioned earlier. And it is definitely best used for the robot mode. The original ship mode, it might look a little bit boxy, but it's definitely a cleaner vehicle mode. The biggest missed opportunity is, where is the Minicon? I mean, where's Safeguard? The big issue with collectors and the legacy version of the Armada toys is the absence of the Minicon partners. Vector Prime among those characters. If this upgrade kit is meant to enhance the toy, then an inclusion of their version of the Minicon should have been a no-brainer. I mean, look, there's even a place to add the Minicon right there on the hull of the ship. And unless they're planning on doing a Minicon set, because, I mean, Lord knows whether or not Hasbro is going to do it, I don't know. But there's a spot right there, and there are other 5mm ports for the robot mode where you could attach it to. And again, you would think this is a no-brainer, and they didn't do it. At the end of the day, this DNA upgrade kit really takes a below-average figure and turns it into a handsome-looking below-average figure. The improvements are just about all cosmetic. None of these additional pieces help makes the toy any less floppy or fiddly. Like just standing this guy up can be a process, just because every joint wants to move. So you're constantly shifting parts and trying to get him to stand and moving this and shifting that, and then he still falls over anyway. So, the upgrade kits look great, makes the figure look good, but doesn't really fix any of these core problems. As I said earlier, at the time of the recording, we still don't know what the Age of the Prime's Vector Prime is going to look like yet. The Hasbro Pulse team said in their reveal of Liege Maximo and Nexus Prime that Vector was the last Prime to be released, and didn't give away a lot of information otherwise. This suggests the team has something special planned, perhaps a new mold or retooling of this one. It's still anybody's guess. The DNA upgrade kit is nice. It looks good on an otherwise lousy figure, but I think I like the original toy just a little bit better. Anyway, that's been my thoughts of the DNA upgrade kit with Vector Prime. I'm JimClassic. You have been watching Geekin It, and I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody.